We wanted to test what would happen if we put all the best players in Football Manager onto one team. And we did exactly that by heading to Manchester City and filling their squad with some unbelievable talent. Obviously they've already got Haaland here, Ruben Dias, and Bernardo Silva too, of course. A great team, but we've added some stars to their ranks, bringing in unreal talent like Mbappe, Joshua Kimmich, and even stealing Salah and Van Dijk from Liverpool. And with that, our mega team was created, a team of 11 of the best players in the world with a bench full of stars too. But instead of stopping there, we decided to up the stakes and make this a little bit more interesting. Instead of just having the best 11 players in the world on a singular team, we also wanted to create a team of some of the unknown names in the Football Manager world, the players that we class as overpowered because of some of their attributes, and then see how well they can compare to the best team in the world. To do this, we headed over to Liverpool, cleared out their squad and filled it with some names that you might not even have heard of. We've got players from Chelsea's under-23 squad, a young player from the Norwegian league, Italian internationals, and some physical monsters like Beto. Now, all of these players come from previous videos we've done on the channel where we've reviewed your fan favourite players. So all of these players in this team are ones that you have suggested. We've made a full squad to see how well they'll compete against the best players in the world, but there is a slight issue. And that's that because we pick players of any kind of level, we are left with a pretty unbalanced squad, one that maybe would even struggle to stay up in the Premier League. There's not too many star names, and a lot of these players you might not even recognise. Even this guy, Jake Cooper, we only picked him because he's got the same name as me. We have some star names in the squad that might be able to drag us up a little bit, but it's nothing compared to the talent at Manchester City. And that was our challenge set. Not only were we going to see how well the best team could possibly do in Football Manager, but we're also having these overpowered players suggested by you guys to see how they compare. Both teams are going to be running the exact same tactic, and the assistants will be asked to use this tactic as often as possible. We won't be making any transfers. These are the teams that we're going to be set with. And so the simulation was ready. We were going to simulate 5 years to see how the teams did across each year. Before we show you the results though, if you do enjoy this video, don't forget to smash the like button for us and comment down below if you'd like to see some more experiments like this. Subscribe if you haven't already to the channel, and check out my channel linked in the description as well for more FM content if you enjoy this kind of thing. And with that being said, let's see what happened in Season 1. And not to anybody's surprise, the best team in the world ended up finishing champions, Manchester City, 91 points, 10 points clear of anybody around them. City even won the Champions League, and it was of course down to this man, Erling Haaland, who scored 1 against Bayern Munich in the 13th minute, and then in the 76th minute, Salah went down the right side, cut it in, and Haaland finished to give us a 2-0 advantage. And as you can imagine, this team played unbelievably well. Mbappe on the left-hand side was a danger, scoring goals and creating chances. Salah was equally as deadly, cutting in from that right-hand side. But of course, it was this man, Erling Haaland, who dragged our team to the title with 40 goals in only 36 Premier League matches. But what about our Liverpool team? Well, this team of mixed-match players predicted to finish mid-table by the game actually got themselves a third-place finish with 74 points. And while stars like Pedro Goncalves were excellent for us, it was our unsung heroes that really helped the team. Players like Mbala and Zola, who we put in this side purely because of his pace and strength. He's gone up front and decided to bag 16 goals in 31 Premier League games. And whilst Manchester City might have had the names that we all know, these kind of players are great in the in-game engine, and they're proving that, performing way above the levels you'd expect and getting that third place finish. If you look at our best 11 here, I mean, it's not exactly world class. I'm not saying it's awful by any stretch. You've got some good players in there for sure, but you really wouldn't be expecting this kind of team with players like Duke on the bench to get anywhere near the kind of finish that we had. So it was a great season for us. And towards the end of the season, this side showed just how good they were, beating Tottenham away from home on the last day of the season 4-1, with goals from everyone from a centre-back from Galatasaray, Victor Nelson. Our second goal here is going to come from, let's see, we've got Lazari at the back playing it through, and it's going to be Alex Collado of all people getting in and slotting in the second. Of course, you've got the big man up top, Beto, who uses his strength and pace to get in behind and slot in another goal for our team. So it's a promising start for both teams. Our best 11 is out there winning the league and the Champions League straight away, but I think the more interesting scenario in this is our overpowered team, who are way performing expectations, getting that third place spot. And if you're wondering where we sent all of our Liverpool players and Man City players that aren't in the squads anymore, they've all gone to Wigan. But it doesn't look like players like Darwin Núñez will be hanging around the second division for too much longer with this kind of interest. And in the second season, it was more of the same for Manchester City, title winners yet again, with a few less points this year. And despite winning the FA Cup, they did actually lose in the Champions League final to Barcelona, where Robert Lewandowski, even at the age of 35, decided to score 2 and crush any hopes of 2 Champions League wins in a row for City. And I also just want to point out there was a crazy Carabao Cup final between City and Villa, where Villa won on penalties after Kimmich got sent off early on, and look how many penalty takers there were. I'm counting 18 penalties from either team there. But our Liverpool team was holding strong, and after another great season in the Premier League, they finished in the 3rd place spot with 71 points. And if you didn't believe some of these players were overpowered, Beto here is a Portuguese striker with no international experience who's playing for Udinese at the start of your saves. In this world though, he has scored 29 goals in 33 Prem appearances purely because he has these monster physical attributes. Young centre-back Abakar Silla was starting to lead the line for us, and it was a decent season for him. He's got 20 leadership and is one of the best young leaders you can get in the whole game. He's also very, very aggressive. Just to showcase another player you might not know about, Martin Forsby here is a Norwegian suggested by one of you guys in a previous video, who's an insanely hard worker with a great work rate, strength, stamina, jumping reach, natural fitness, determination. He is a mentality monster. And over the course of this video, I'll do my best to showcase as many of these players to you as possible. And whilst Manchester City have this mega team of all the best players in the world, it was actually our Liverpool side who nearly knocked them out of the Champions League, getting a 4-1 win in the Champions League semi-final first leg. They did eventually get battered in the second leg, but they really proved that you don't have to be star names to win a match of football here. Even against some of the best players in the whole world, this team of unknown names, or at least names that you might not think about immediately on Football Manager, managed to bag 4 against the best players known to man. And for anyone interested how they're getting on, Wigan have managed to drag themselves into the Prem. Unfortunately though, they did get relegated in Season 3, and it was once again Manchester City who topped the table with 81 points. As well as this, they won the FA Cup and the Champions League yet again. Here's an example of Mbappe getting down the left and cutting it back for De Bruyne. Some real stars playing together there. And this mega team is doing everything you'd expect them to do. The only real shock is Bernardo Silva has been converted to a left back by the assistant manager. Don't know how it's happened, but apparently he's very good there. But our unsung heroes at Liverpool are still doing well, managing to get a 3rd place finish, joint on the same amount of points as 2nd place Chelsea. And some of these players now are becoming real household names, with the likes of Sivert Mannsverk here now being linked with PSG, having played so well for us over the course of 3 seasons. Another interesting one is Leandro Morgala. He finds himself in the 3rd division out in Germany when you start up your save, yet here he's played 3 seasons of Premier League football, consistently getting more minutes every single season, and he's now valued at around £100 million, and he's only 20. And a lot of our players now, like Galeno, are starting to attract interest from huge clubs, but don't worry, for the sake of this simulation, I'm going to make sure all of them stay in Liverpool. But 3 seasons in, this has been a very interesting one. Manchester City, of course, winning it all, but this overpowered team is showing exactly what can happen if you have players with really high attributes in certain areas, whether that's pace here like Galeno, or if you're extremely strong and big like Beto is up front. Season 4 was the first big change though, with Man City again winning the title on 88 points. They lost the Champions League this time, but did manage to beat our Liverpool side 2-0 in the FA Cup final to add a different trophy to the cabinet. De Bruyne with a screamer there to win that match. Liverpool, however, slipped all the way into 7th place. Still a pretty good finish for the kind of players we've got. 65 points though is a big difference from last season. This is how the best 11 for this team looks like at this point, with Magala playing in midfield, Silla and Nelson at the back, Lazzari and DeMarco making up the Italian fullbacks, and the Norwegian duo in the midfield of Forsby and Mannsverk holding that midfield. Now, some of these players are overpowered because of certain attributes they have, but also some of them are overpowered because of their hidden mental attributes. Take Victor Nelson here, a decent centre-back on paper. I am now going to show you using the editor, so look away if you don't want to, but show you his hidden attributes. If we go to them, you will see this man has a 20 for consistency and a 15 for important matches. That means he is going to play at a high level on so many occasions for us, and it goes to show why this team is doing so well. Even if this season wasn't so good, they are still performing way above expectation, and we've got one more year to see what they can do. Now, just before I show you the result, I want to promise you this was was not rigged. I didn't expect this to happen at all, particularly after a 7th place finish last year. But in our final season, Man City finished second on 85, and at the top of the table on 87 points is our Liverpool team of overpowered players suggested by you. They even won a European trophy this year as well, beating Wolfsburg 3-1 in the Europa League final. Valery there scoring an amazing free kick. Wolfsburg did get a goal back through Nemecha here that you'll see right now, but our Liverpool side kept going, and in the final minutes of the game we managed to score 2 goals to take us to the trophy. Players like Beto have ended up becoming fan favourites at the club, delivering glory to Liverpool after losing all of their squad. He has been a huge goal scorer for them across the last 5 years. And this is still the best 11, nothing's changed, and if you were to tell someone that this team here on paper could win the league in the Premier League on Football Manager, a lot of them would go, who even are these people? Yes, some of them might be a bit more well known than others, but you would never guess this central midfielder from Kosovo would go out there in a Liverpool shirt for 5 seasons and guide them to a Premier League win. But it can happen when you have these players with incredible hidden attributes and on paper attributes too, and you guys suggested every single player in this 11 across the course of multiple videos in the past. So maybe you don't need to have the best players in Football Manager after all. We ran the same tactic with both teams, and it goes to show you the power of some attributes in game. If you want to know any more about any of these players, let me know in the comments, but that is our experiment done. If you want to see more like this, let us know down below, but have a great day, and I'll see you next time.